the way women plan finances needs to be different.
It's true.
I don't think women realize how easy it is for you to take care of everyone else
except yourself.
Except yourself.
It's so important, woman, no matter what stage you are, to make sure that you have a solid plan. Whether you have kids, no kids.
We don't ever think and sit and just ask, am I protected?
Exactly.
What are some of the most important questions that a woman needs to ask and answer as far as her financial wellness is concerned as she's transitioning from a single woman into, say, marriage or a serious partnership, long-term partnership? Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Finance Friday. My name is Susan and I'm so happy to have you join us for yet another episode. Today's conversation is very exciting. You guys know I am very biased towards girlies. And so today's conversation is about women and how to financially handle transitions in a smart and very strategic manner. But before we get into that, as per usual, we are shooting at Sarova Pan-Afric, who have been our partners for Finance Friday for the past year or so, and it's been such an amazing experience being here. Did you know that Sarova Pan-Afric offers a women-only wing? Think of it as your own little sanctuary in the city, where every room is designed with soft, feminine touches inspired by the elegance and the legacy of Wangari Maathai. From the decor to the service, it's a space that celebrates womanhood in the most intentional way. And the best part? You'll be hosted and cared for by an all-women team who make the experience feel personal, warm, and refined. This isn't just a stay, it's a statement, a space created for women, by women. Today I'm joined by a guest. She is not a stranger on this channel, Mnyindo.
Hi Susan.
Hi.
How are you?
Tusalimia.
Hey, asanteni sana. Hi everyone. I've told Susan I should now be a shareholder at the Legacy Hub because of the amount of time I've been here. So my name is Mnyindo Tyro and I'm the founder of La Risk Africa, where we specialize and focus on the protection and preservation of family wealth. The one thing we have observed over a very long period of time, especially when it comes to Kenyan and African families, is we focus so much on the creation journey, but not necessarily the protection and preservation. So it is equally as important to create and to protect whatever it is that you're building. So that it is we do through different structures, liquidity planning, so where insurance comes in, having to write your wills, your trust. That is where it is that we fall in, just to make sure that no matter what it is that happens, there's some level of continuity and everything it is that you've worked for is going to be preserved.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you so much. I mean, it's always such a refreshing thing, like to sit down and have these conversations with you. So the reason I wanted to have you over is because I've really been thinking about, I've been on my own journey as a woman. And I remember when I was actually thinking about this episode, I was like, I actually remember 2019 as though it's just yesterday.
Yes.
And why I'm referring to 2019 is because then I was single. No, I wasn't a wife. I wasn't a mother. I was living in my mother's house.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much.
Just the other day.
Just the other day. The only thing I had going on for me is that I was working. I had a job, you know?
Yeah.
And now, 6 years later, I have gone through so many life transitions. I'm just like, why does it feel like 16 years? It's 6 years.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's 6 years, but it feels like 16 years, right? Yeah. So I moved from, between 2019 and now, I have moved from an employed to, from an employed person to from employment into unemployment.
Yes.
I've moved from singlehood into marriage. Yeah. I have moved from a child-free person into motherhood. And very recently, now I'm, juggling all of that with a toddler. And
how is that, Susan?
Where? That needs a whole episode
I know.
on its own, Yeah. And so one of the things that has been constant is that, and I guess, you know, tukisikia quote, people think it's just so cliche when people say that the only consistent thing in life is change, right? And so when I look at through all these seasons, especially when I move from employment into unemployment, there was a financial shock there. When I moved from singlehood into marriage, there was a financial adjustment. When I moved from being child-free to being a mom, biggest financial adjustment, you know? And so I thought maybe for today's episode, we could really just discuss specifically for our, like the woman's journey from like when, you know, you're a young girl, maybe just in school and you're trying to figure out, okay, now I'm getting into employment and all this, especially life transitions that are around the area of family, right? What's one of the things that has shocked you the most in your line of work when it comes to women transitioning from one season of life into the other? What are things you've seen that have really shocked you in the, you know, 6-7 years that you've done protection portfolios for African families?
So I love that you've taken us through your transition journey because it's very real, and I also have gone through a transition journey. So I'll answer that question after I've also now highlighted my transition journey. Because the one thing, you know, we never think about, as you say, the only constant is change. We never think about sometimes how these changes could affect us financially, because just like you, before I was employed and single, then I went to being, engaged and married and stay-at-home mom. And then after that, you know, went through a loss of a partner and became widowed. And now I am taking care of these kids by myself. And also now, you know, the way you say that there's different aspects of transition. So there's the transition that goes in your career journey, which is happening at the same time, the transition that's going through your family journey and just life in general. Because before I was, single, married, single, or do I call it widowed, right? And then I was no children, one child, two kids,
children,
right?
Parenting with a partner.
Exactly, then parenting alone.
Solo,
and then employed, unemployed, business owner. And all of these things are happening at the same time. The one thing I realized is, especially for a lot of women, it is that we are working with is they are carrying so much without even necessarily being aware. I think a lot of people are just focusing on the roles that they are taking up as women, but not really sitting down to say, my goodness, this is what I'm actually contributing, and this is what I'm bringing to the table. And the moment anything happens, everything it is that I have put on the table just disappears. So let me just give an example. You know, as women, I like to call women vaults. We carry so much. Susan, women know their husbands. I feel like they even know their husbands more than they know themselves. They know what illnesses that they have, the medication they need to take. You know your kids' allergies, all of these things. So I think one thing I've been able to observe is we truly have all these things in our brains. And it's almost like it's so normal. We think that in case of anything, there's someone who just can continue from where it is that it was left off. This is why, I don't know if you've ever observed when a mother is not there, or when like
it's mayhem.
Yeah, it's mayhem because most probably they are the organizers of the household. They're the ones who know the teachers. Not saying that men don't, but most of the time it's the women who usually know everything that is happening in the household. So the moment these women are not there, it almost feels like the house collapses, right? And then also another thing that I've observed even in my journey and a lot of women is the fact that many do not even know, especially when it comes to maybe even assets or things that are of value, whose name is on what. Yeah, that's another thing I've seen. It's very typical because, as I said, we don't really sit down too much and think, okay, when it comes to things like beneficiary, when it comes to who actually owns this asset, is there any sort of continuity plan? We don't think about that. So when it comes to now, yes, the ownership and what it is that we carry and hold, I think it's almost like we downplay how important it is that we are.
I love that you mentioned the word downplay, because in my line of work now when I'm coaching, because we really get into the meat of it. Like
Yeah.
when a client comes into my coaching room,
Yeah.
we look through budgets,
Yes.
we look through income, we look through how you're saving, how you're investing, and we literally try and come up with a plan and a system that someone can stick to.
Yes.
I think for me, the thing that has shocked me the most every time I work with
Yeah.
women is how so many of us, as you've said, we downplay,
Yeah.
I feel, the role of the non-financial aspects in our finances.
Yes,
It's as
yes.
though we think, and I see women being very hard on themselves because of that. So you find that someone, I mean, even as early as yesterday,
Yes.
I was having a conversation with one of my clients who kept telling me, we've done an accountability program. She's done exceptionally
Yes.
well.
Yes.
I was even like looking at her portfolio.
Yeah.
We are at $100,000
What?
already.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, for someone who's like under
Yes.
35.
That is
You know?
amazing.
And like the only thing she kept picking up was, Susan, you know, I've not been able to stick to my budget. Why can't I stick to my budget? etc. And then now I started kind of like breaking down and trying to show her like the areas where she wasn't sticking to her budget. And interestingly, what actually came out was the fact that the areas in which she feels as though she is overspending are the areas that have the ones that she's spending on herself.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
that is interesting. Yes.
Yeah. So when we are looking at black tax, she doesn't see as though that's
a
wasting
problem.
money.
Oh, so now
when
when
we are
it comes to
looking
her,
at, but like when now she's like, oh my God, but I spent so money on doing my nails, or I spent so much money getting that massage, or I think I don't, do I really need that new bra?
Yes. Even.
Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I get
and
it.
I really related with her yesterday, and I was telling her, you literally are mirroring what I've also struggled with on a personal level. And I was even telling her very recently, someone close in my life needed a bag, like a handbag. And I was like, nilingia denri, haraka
Ukanunua.
haraka, nika nini.
Yeah.
And then I remember, so I ordered it and then it was delivered. Then my brother asked me, so in this whole thing, where have you gotten yourself a bag? Because you need a bag. He's been on my case about getting a bag.
Yes.
And you know, it's like something clicked. And I was like, when I'm doing it for someone else, it comes out so easy.
So
and like the money just kind of flows. Because sometimes I feel like it may not be all women, but some of us, and I think a lot of women are, even if you're not an empath by nature, there's that societal expectation of nurturing and taking care of the people around you. And so it was such an eye-opening conversation for both myself and my client yesterday to actually realize that there's such a thing as value-based spending.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
That and even as I was thinking about that conversation later, and even thinking about today, I realized that I don't think women realize how easy it is for you to take care of everyone else
Except yourself.
except yourself. And I don't know whether have you experienced that in your own personal journey
yes.
as a woman who's now raising children? How many times, even financially speaking, have you self-abandoned? Because like I remember when I had my son, that first year, aki hakuna jina no. Listen, my bras, I needed a bra. But no, I'm here buying shoes
for your son.
For my son. I'm buying, and then like someone has to remind you to get proper clothes for yourself.
It's true.
And you know, and all of this is just, and I think that's such, I know it's a small representation of it, but I think even in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to now things like financial planning, coming up with investment and protection portfolios, we don't ever think and sit and just ask, am I protected?
Exactly. No, I love that, Susan, because I also noticed when I'm out there and I'm buying things, it's my kids first.
You never think about
I never even
yourself.
think of myself. It's only now that I'm trying to be very intentional about it. But I don't know where these feelings come from. Is it a feeling of guilt? Is it just because, I mean, I have children, I need to make sure that they're taken care of. So I will make sure that my children, yes, they go to really good schools. I will go out of my way to pay for, you know, the extracurricular activities. When I travel, I buy them all these amazing clothes. But then you realize, na mimi.
When was the last time you bought a pair of jeans for yourself? It's just like, that's wasting money.
Exactly. And then this is how you see, even with quite a number of women. I don't know if you've seen it when you are working or working with women. You see the way sometimes even you will buy an asset with your partner and everything is in his name.
And you're comfortable.
And you're comfortable. So it's almost, that's why when I say that the aspect of ownership, whose name is in it,
it never crosses our minds.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what, I will just give, it's okay, like for him to just have everything. I mean, as you said, we are very nurturing, very caring, but I think sometimes to our detriment. So we have to be able to now catch it and ask ourselves, okay, what's also in it for me?
Yeah,
there has to be some level of balance. Yes, we care about our loved ones, but it's also important to make sure we've secured ourselves, because the one constant is you. You are there before you are a mother. You are there before you are, a partner, a spouse. You are, whether you are employed or unemployed, there's just that you as Susan.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And financially speaking, I think also making sure that you understand that there's no such thing as planning for these things while putting all of those things aside.
Yeah.
Like when I'm planning for my finances, I can't ignore the fact that I am a mother.
Exactly.
When I'm planning for my finances, I can't ignore that I'm married.
Yes.
When I'm planning for my finances, I cannot ignore that I'm a firstborn African daughter.
Oh, there's that part we forgot. Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So all of that, and I guess Dave Ramsey then was right when he said that as much as, and I think this is what I'm starting to hope women can begin to realize, is that you can watch all the YouTube videos like the one you're watching right now, read all the personal finance books, have all the best tools in the world, but as long as you're not actively planning for life and its transitions and its happenings, you will have the head knowledge.
Yes.
But now money EQ is, how do I deal with a separation issue? How do I now make sure that I now, let's say, stay protected in the case of now, let's say, divorce or widowhood and stuff like that. And I guess because it's such an uncomfortable conversation for us to think about or even to have, we stay unprotected.
It's
and I know
true.
we are going to be having maybe like 5 minutes or so. I'm hoping you can give us like, because I know you have an amazing audit tool and blueprint that you can give us.
Yes, I'll
so
share
that
with you,
someone can actually be able to go through it and be like, how well am I doing?
Yes.
I guess my next question to you would be, what are some of the things that in these different life transitions, as we are talking about, like let's say from singlehood into marriage, and I think that's what I want to start with, you know, singlehood into marriage and also singlehood or rather child-free into motherhood, right? What are some of the most important questions that a woman needs to ask and answer as far as her financial wellness is concerned as she's transitioning from a single woman into, say, marriage or a serious partnership, long-term partnership?
So that's a very good question, Susan. One thing I keep on insisting is, first of all, it's important to know what it is that you want as a woman, because again, it is true that we're going to go through different transitions. And even when you're going into a marriage, you're asking yourself, is this aligning also to my overall goal and visions of my life, right? Because it's also very possible to meet someone who your goals are not even aligning. So imagine now you're coming from a place of singlehood, right? And at that point, depending on how you are with your financial life or financial journey, think about it. Maybe, for example, right now you have already started your journey in, you know, creating your investments, because nowadays our girlies, they go all out, right? So you are there really working so hard on your investments, your protection portfolio, and then now you've met someone and you are looking into having something long term with them. Obviously now you're getting married. Marriage is, you know, such a big deal. And have you really had the conversation with this person, with your partner, to just also understand where he is when it comes to his financial journey?
That's true.
So, and if based on the conversation it is that you've had, are you still comfortable moving ahead? Are there some places where you have to now, meet each other halfway? Is he willing, to, if it's now change his lifestyle, or to be able to now focus on you guys together as partners? Because even when you're getting into a long-term partnership or a marriage, there's definitely the autonomy, because you still have to have some level of, because in my how it is that I do it, I don't believe that if I come in now everything is just 100% joint or everything. We can still have our joint goal and joint vision, but there's still some part of me that's still left for me, right? So there's us as individuals and then us together, right? So it's always important to ask yourself, okay, based on where he is and where it is that we want to go, are we on the same page? Because I realize most of us don't have that conversation beforehand. Then now you cross over, and because you never had this conversation, you're trying to have this conversation 5 years down the line. The guy is like, Sasa.
All of a sudden,
Yes.
unataka transparency. You never
Exactly.
talked about this.
Yes.
And,
so,
and
yeah.
do you think these are conversations, and maybe guys can let us know in the comment section whether, especially if you're actively dating right now, what kind of conversations are you having with people that you're seriously dating? Because sometimes
Yes.
I usually feel like, especially when I'm coaching couples, there are things I pick up and I wish that this conversation was had before.
Yes.
Because now we are dealing with and I'm not saying that people need to, I mean, my spouse and I don't have the same money personality.
Yes.
In fact,
Yes.
ours are
Opposite.
exact polar opposites.
Yes.
While I'm
Yes.
happy to
Yes.
hold,
Yes.
my person,
Yes.
pesa tunatumia.
Tunatumia.
Ituzoe.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But you know, it's not a matter of having different money I mean the same money personalities. I think it's shared values.
Yes. Yeah, that is very important.
And a lot of people have not had the conversation around values.
Yeah.
So for me, values looks something like, fine, what are aspects of discussion? What are aspects of our spending that
Yes.
require a discussion?
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
What are aspects of our spending that are discretionary?
Yeah.
That one where
true.
jibambe, you don't have to
Yes.
ask or
Yeah.
for permission or notify your partner that you bought
Yes.
a lip balm.
Yes.
But
yes,
you might
yes,
probably need to notify your partner that you're buying a piece of land
or a car.
or a car. You understand?
Even if it's your own money.
Yeah, you see those things.
Yeah.
And I think that really comes now down to ownership. And
Yes.
you know, today
Yes.
I'm gonna go somewhere that people don't want us to go.
Let's go.
I don't know
Yes.
if you've been on TikTok lately, but I've really been consuming a lot of content around the trad wives
Ooh.
discussion, the pro trad wives and anti trad wives. I guess
Yes.
I want the feminists.
Nakwambia.
You know,
Sisi tuko wapi?
Mimi, let me tell you. Let me just
Yes.
say my stand for, in case there is any
Yes.
confusion.
Yes.
But let me be serious.
Yes.
The thing that really caught me is that I see videos about women standing in a supermarket line because they decided to say be a stay-at-home mom for whatever reason that is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that staying at home or deciding to stay home to raise your children is the concern here. It's mi hata naonanga hiyo ni kazi mingi kushinda mwenye anaenda kwa ofisi, you know?
Ni kazi mingi.
The thing is access.
Yes.
Right? So I've seen so many videos of, you know, someone is there, they are already done doing their groceries, and now
Oh, they need someone, oh my, to call.
they are
yeah,
calling.
yeah.
Niko kwa till.
Oh my God. Yes.
And maybe the guy's budget was what? Say 10,000.
Oh my God.
You've
If
gone
go
to
to
13,000. So now he's asking, kwani nini
You
nini
3K nini?
umechukua? Nini. And from where I sit, I'm like, but am I a teenager?
No. It's almost like you're a baby.
Do you understand?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And I don't think are women ready for these conversations? Do you? Because you see, the harder conversation here is not whether you choose to stay home or not.
No.
That's not the subject of the discussion. The subject of the discussion is as you decided to stay home. I know you decided to stay home.
Yes, I did.
And I know your dynamic was not that.
Yes.
So how did maybe say, for example, yours play out? Because I think a lot of women who've chosen to be like stay-at-home moms do not know how to have that conversation about access.
No, that is a very good question, Susan, because, you know, even in part of my journey, I was a stay-at-home mother.
Yeah.
Before I was employed and before I even became a stay-at-home mother, that was a conversation I had to have with my late husband. It was not that he decided that you're going to I mean, I have gone to school and I'm a smart girl, but during that
wale wa kusomea maju
nakwambia
to stress.
So at that time, there was so much that was going with my previous employer, and then I felt like I could not continue working anymore, and then a lot was changing. We're getting married, and then also just shortly after a baby is coming. So when we had the conversation and we actually agreed on how now we're going to move forward, and it was going to be now a temporary season. So we had the conversation. I told him, okay, right now I can take a break so that I can focus on now my kids, the family, and just getting, things in order. But at some point in time, I'll still have to go back to work, right? And then now we had to have the financial conversation. That's why it's important, again, to just have these conversations, money conversations early. These are things we brought up very, very early when we knew that now we are going down the marriage route. I was not scared to have that conversation because, how am I okay having a child with you and not okay having the money conversation? To me, that thing never makes sense at all. So I'm comfortable giving you access to my body, but now the money is where we draw the line. Just to me, that didn't make sense. And remember, by me not working, it means I don't have an income. That is now also me giving away quite a bit of my power, because autonomy, because in case of anything, it means then like I have to start from scratch. Remember, as a woman, when you take a break from work, you no longer have even those years of experience. That's why it's important to make sure that now you're having this conversation with your partner. So the conversation came around visibility. I needed to know how much you're making. How much you earn.
How are we spending it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So what happened is my husband was very good at making, so we had decided I'll be the one who's managing. Right? So that is what happened. So visibility. In terms of access, I had access to, say, things like his M-Pesa, his cards, and all of that. So I had access on that level. And then also, again, when it came to, things like now getting medical cover, life cover, we had to have that conversation. Be like, okay, right now we are starting a family, so it only makes sense for us to put these things in order, having an emergency fund and all of that, right? So at least up to that part, we had that conversation and everything was okay. So we had even started having the conversations on wills and trusts. It's just that we did not set it up and finish. It doesn't matter even if you had the conversation but you didn't do it, it doesn't matter. But the thing which I wish we did better, because I'm really grateful for, as I said, the level of visibility. I knew what he owned. He didn't hide these things from me. I knew where he worked. I knew where to get everything. The biggest issue, or what we didn't really have a conversation on, is a lot of the assets were in his name.
Yeah.
So in as much as I knew of the assets,
you didn't have access.
I didn't have access because I didn't have access. So you had
visibility, but no access in the case he's not there.
Yes, exactly. So only had access when he's alive, because he's okay with me having access to his bank accounts and all of that. But I had never thought that one day, if someone dies or if he was to die, how will I even have access to all these things?
Everything is frozen.
Everything is frozen. So you see now, that's what I went through. I could not have access to his bank accounts. I don't even know how these bankers usually know that someone is gone. So everything is blocked. Even if he had property, I can't access until the whole court process is over. So those are the conversations we had to have. Like, okay, so what do I have access to? Do I have do I know everything it is that you own? Because I need to know that in case of anything, remember, I'm also taking care of your children. I need to know that I can still continue. So the the life cover that came through for us was very, very helpful. So imagine if we didn't have that conversation.
How would I have continued? You wouldn't even know it's there.
It's true.
And that's the thing that I really wish that a lot of women in that season of life, because our babies need us. You know the number of times I call you telling you I'm shutting down this business. At last week I was shutting it down. Because I think we are always at war within ourselves. I feel like as a working mom, you will always be at war within yourself. There are days I wake up and look at that child and wonder, ni nini hiyo kubwa naenda kutafuta huko nje ndio niache huyo mtoto. Do you understand? So I've never had a problem with a woman sitting down and decide. I stayed home for 8 months after I got my baby, because I was just like, I don't understand how we are supposed to leave them at 3 months. Like the whole maternity leave thing, it bit like after I became a mom, I was just like 3 months. Y'all give us 90 days only.
Imagine. It's not enough.
Sasa niliangalia huyo mtoto hivi na shanga na mwacha aje.
Si bado mtoto sana.
That's such a baby. Do you understand? So I do not, I understand. every woman
Exactly.
that makes the decision to actually
take a break.
take a break, and for that season actually
It's
be
true.
home with their children.
Yeah, we've not even put into consideration sometimes your child needs extra care, or it's special needs.
Or it's a special needs child, so even it's longer.
Yeah, so you cannot anticipate. That's why we said some of these transitions you cannot anticipate.
Yeah.
How will you know that you've gone to give birth to a child and now they need to be in hospital for a whole year? Because these things do happen, right? And will you really be at work okay when you know your child is not okay? So those are things we don't think about.
Let me tell you, I did not know how easy it is to just wake up one day and be like, I'm done. Until I became a mother. And that's why I feel like the way women plan finances needs to be different.
It's true.
Because, do you know, the other day, I'm having this conversation with my spouse about mom guilt. And then I asked him whether there's such a thing as dad guilt.
Yes.
He looked at me like this.
Yes.
He laughed.
So it's not there.
Dad guilt.
I was even dealing with it just last night.
Ask this guy's on set. Ask this guy here. Have you ever felt that guilt? You see, he doesn't even know what that guilt is. Do you understand? Yeah,
I understand,
and I think God in his own way akona reason tu mbona ametumba venye tuko, unaelewa? So and so that's why that's why I love having these conversations, because I don't want women to separate these realities from their finances.
Exactly.
Because it affects, I mean, me staying home for whether that's 5 months or 5 years will impact, and I think there's so many things we don't see.
Yeah.
Your colleagues wenye mlimaliza shule na wao, right now they have 5 years of work experience that you don't have.
Yeah.
They've made connections, they've advanced their education, they've done all of this. You have gap years and all of that. So even by the time you're coming to now get reintroduced into the work, let's say the marketplace, you're really starting almost at entry level.
Exactly.
So you've lost several years on this end. It's not a total loss because you gained on this on the family front, but financially speaking, there's definitely something that has happened in terms of like it's almost you've been put at a disadvantage.
No, it's true. So that's why I say if I'm to okay, I don't think I'll go down that road
actually,
again.
I was to ask you.
No,
I thought I was gonna put you on the spot. That's why I didn't ask. I actually, because now you've experienced both sides.
Yeah.
You've experienced, I wouldn't call you a trad wife. You're so far from that. But you've experienced choosing to be a stay-at-home mom while your husband is working, and now you're out here boss babying and raising your children. Would you ever, what do you think of that dynamic, honestly speaking? And not because, like, not in a shaming kind of way, but what would you want women, if by the time a woman is making that decision, what's a list of things they should ask for, rather demand from their spouse?
So remember, I truly believe we are all dynamic.
Yeah.
There's someone who's okay being a boss babe, having their business, someone who's so okay being employed.
We like stress.
You know, and there's someone who's okay now taking care of the kids and, you know, being there, homeschooling the children, and their life is revolving, I mean, their family, they're a homemaker. All of them are okay, right? The only thing now you have to ask yourself, if you've now chosen to go down the homemaking journey, or that is now what is your passion and that's where you want to go, I mean, that's what you're comfortable with. If I was to go through that again, everything will be joint. Because your money is literally our money. Literally, because I'm no longer working, but I'm supporting. Okay, let's just say
that's the thing that I want women to understand.
A different job.
We are working.
It is still working. It's just different.
Just that you are working in the marketplace. I'm working in the home.
Yes. So make sure that everything is joint. If you cannot give me access to, let's say, your bank account or the income you have, we have a problem. Let me just go to work. Let me just work, because if you do not even have the capability of just letting me know how much is coming to us, does it mean that you already know how I can be at a disadvantage in the case something happens to you? It's just honestly not fair.
Because this babe doesn't have a salary. This babe doesn't have benefits. This babe does not have a retirement fund. And statistically speaking, women outlive their husbands.
Exactly.
So there's a lot that... And that's why I really respect stay-at-home moms, because I don't think anyone has, like, people zoom out to see what this person has decided to leave behind to be a present parent and
Yes.
person in
Exactly.
the home, because there is a cost for everything.
there's a
You
cost.
see, I mean,
Everything,
you're always, you and I talk
Yeah.
a lot about our motherhood work business thingy.
Yeah.
When you're winning in the business, you
Yeah.
are getting zeros
God.
at home.
It's so true. That's
so
what I was
painful.
thinking. It's so
Yeah.
painful. It's
When
so
you're
true.
there winning
Yeah.
in the, like now this whole past week, I was just at home
Yes.
with my child. So I
Yes.
told you we are
I
going through a
remember.
growth spurt. Kila kitu imechomeka kwa biashara. Niko
Ni
tu
kweli.
like, listen, I'll just come
It
back
is.
next week and
Imagine.
we'll try rehabilitate this
Yeah.
thing back to life. You
Exactly.
understand? So there's
Yeah.
always gonna be
Yeah,
a cost.
it's a trade-off,
Yeah, it's
right?
a trade-off.
So if I was to redo it again, obviously we all have an emergency fund, which I also have access to. It has to be jointly owned, right? We have to have, you have to have, I have to have medical cover, definitely. Life cover is a non-negotiable. Na ukienda, mi nitafanya nini?
Na wendo breadwinner.
Na wendo breadwinner, like
And this is the
literally.
thing.
So yeah, because I think it's such a dangerous place if you are a stay-at-home mom or your husband is bringing a very big chunk into the household and there's no level of continuity in the case. Can you still continue the lifestyle?
What happens when the breadwinner is no more?
Exactly, right? Because you will have to now continue his legacy. But how will you continue his legacy if you're there in grief, fighting for his things, and there's no money, right? And then, as you said, just also good to have a retirement pot or some sort of investment, just visibility and access. And then also to an extra level, setting up a family trust or him writing a will. Because again, you have to protect us. You have to protect me and your kids, right?
How do you deal with a partner who is listening to all these things we are saying? Because I've had several clients tell me that their husbands interpret asking for visibility and access as though you want to be paid to do what a woman should just do.
That's why they have to register for the webinar.
Oh yeah, we'll give details of the webinar. Because that's the thing that I find when someone is like, okay, if I'm gonna stay home, then I want that. It sounds, some men, not all men, some men interpret that as a transactional. It's like, oh, so indoor sasa ni transactional. It always really comes out sometimes when we are trying to really have this discussion and the man is like, but mi nafanya kenye mwanaume anafaa kwa kifanya. I'm providing for my family. So if I'm going out there and providing for the family, then you it looks as though you want to be paid. You see those girls who want to be paid to get pregnant and paid an allowance to stay at home.
But this is such a different case. This is actually survival. It's not that a lifestyle, I'm here, I want access so that I can live a certain type of life and go out there and do all the shopping that I need. This is literally survival, because if I'm not working and you're the only one who's working, I'm taking care of you, this household, and the children. It should be bare minimum that I don't have to stand kwa supermarket. Exactly.
Unitumie till.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. There should have been a sort of joint account. You should now trust me enough. Where I can just now withdraw and be able to now take care
for
of
the house.
Exactly. But now you remember we're all different and we are marrying different men. There's some men who are okay with that, and there's some who just do not want. They're just like me ndio msema kila kitu. I'm the one who is handling the finances. I don't want to give. So in short, then just go to work. If you're already married to that type of person, just go to work. That's all I can say. If you can already see the signs and symptoms, don't wait until something happens, because as you said, everything is a trade-off. If you want me to stay at home, it's only fair for me to have access, because I am at a place of a disadvantage. But if you're not okay with opening up that, access and visibility, allow me to work.
I love that. What I'm hearing from you, Mnyindo, is if a woman is transitioning from singlehood into marriage, or from being child-free into becoming a mother and, having a partner for that, visibility and access is one of the most
very
important.
critical.
They should be non-negotiable. I want us to address the typical African daughter.
Yes.
Either the only daughter, or the
Firstborn
firstborn daughter,
or the responsible daughter.
Or the responsible daughter.
I've seen young ones also taking care of the whole household. What?
Of course. I mean, all your older siblings have wives and children, and you are the one who is paying school fees for those children. And
you are not getting a PTA.
Do you understand? And why I ask that is because there are layers of protection that I think we should really begin to think about
Yeah.
what are some of the things that this woman should begin to put in place
Yeah.
to also protect her? Because I feel like that girl is sandwiched.
Yeah.
She's probably about to transition into family life at some point in her life, but she also has these siblings and
Yes.
parents and whatnot that she takes
Yeah.
care of. If you're like me, extended family
Yeah.
even, and all of that.
Yeah.
How, because like for me, one of the things that I remember those 2 years I was so selfish.
Yeah.
I fully funded my emergency fund.
No, that's
for 12 months.
That's where I would even have started in this whole conversation.
For 12 months. I was like, kwa hii rende yote hakuna mtu anaweza nipatia 50 bob nikiwaomba, nikiwa kwa shida. So in fact what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna, and I think it came, interestingly, I had moments of so much guilt. And looking back, I understand when people are like, yani Susan sasa unaniambia niweke emergency fund, and fulani doesn't even have school fees. And I'm always like, do you realize that when you leave yourself vulnerable, you also leave them vulnerable?
It's true.
Because if they depend on me and I can't even stand on my own 2 feet, then the entire family is in trouble.
That is so
Seeing
true.
as they only depend on the responsible
No,
daughter.
but that is so true. That's why we keep on saying you have to put now the oxygen mask on yourself first, because as you said, in this particular situation, because everybody is dependent on you, if something was to happen, they can't even help you in the first place. So you have to first of all shield yourself, even as you're helping everybody else. As you said, first of all, making sure that you have that emergency fund is so critical. And then I think it is very tricky. I've even met people who are child-free, and the reason why they say they don't even think that they're going to get married is because they have so much that they're carrying that they feel that if they were to get a partner, they might not fully understand that, you know, I'm taking care of all these people. So again, when you're going through that, yes, emergency fund is important. You know, the whole protection portfolio, having a medical cover, because if you're to get into a medical emergency, who's going to raise 200K to take you to Nairobi hospital, you know? And then you have all these people who are dependent on you. So definitely a life cover, right? So yes, they might not be your actual kids, but in case of anything happening, because you are clearly the breadwinner of your also extended family, there has to be some level of continuity. So because, and you know, when you are not there, your income is gone. So there has to be some level of income protection. And then also, because you also are gathering assets, you know, having the will is important. But also what I believe is so critical is just having the conversation and having specific and clear boundaries on what it is that I can do and what I cannot do. Because in as much as, yes, I want to take care of everyone and everything, I don't have limitless money.
You're not Jesus.
Exactly. You can only tell someone, I can only go so far, and you also stick to it, because you can imagine you tell someone, the more maybe it's your mom or whoever it is, I can only send you 15,000 a month, and then now you are guilt-tripped into sending, let's say, 50,000. So usually, even for me, I do have a specific pot specifically for giving. If it's reached its max,
you and me both.
Yeah, it is what it is. So you have to
I just have a problem about how much money that is.
Yeah,
it's quite a bit.
So you have to,
Mother Teresa.
Exactly. And you know, the guilt doesn't go away,
it
because
never goes away.
Now someone calls, like, let's say my cousin calls me and tells me her children are sick. Tomorrow someone else calls. And you know, their family, you wonder, okay, do I give? And do you remember there's a conversation we had of enabling? Yeah, we could be enabling them. And then now there's, okay, are they actually sick? And if they're sick, I don't want something to happen to my nieces and nephews. So you end up being torn into what to do. So you have to have an internal conversation on what you are able to do and what you're not able to do. And now create your structures on, okay, these are the things that I've created to be able to protect me as Myindo. Yeah, no matter what happens. Because in case, as I said, something happens to me, they still can't come through like that. They can come through as a community, but maybe raise the amount of money that should be necessary for me. It might not be possible. So you have to now take care of your own finances and then have the right conversations with your people on what it is that you're able to do. So an internal conversation is so important.
It's so important. Before we finalize on the live audit, I want to ask one last case scenario. You've heard of Hakimi, the athlete. Do you know Hakimi? Do you know Hakimi?
I have heard. I don't know him, but I've heard of the situation.
So this guy. Hey, bro, let me tell you, this guy ametuharibia wanaume. This dude was having some scruffles with his woman,
Yes.
kidogo kidogo, sijui she wants what, they're separating, right?
Yeah.
Hey, see, she goes to start, to go, whatever. She realizes the boy does not own nothing.
Yeah.
The mother
Yes,
of the boy
yes.
owns everything.
Yes, you're smart.
And I have had several scenarios. I think there's
Yeah.
one more guy who
Yeah.
did it. He's also a sportsman. Who can remind me? Who on set knows this other guy who did it?
I think I don't remember the
There
name.
was
but I know,
Hakimi,
yes,
but then
yeah.
there's someone
Yeah.
else who
Yeah.
recently did it. Not a Kenyan guy. Guys, please let me know in the comment section. I forget.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The illustrator, the French illustrator
Yeah.
who never talks. What's his name?
Mr. Bean.
No. The dark guy who.
Oh, I know the one yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The one who
Kaby
does-
Lane. Kaby Lane.
Yeah, the one who does
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Also, it was actually true. The story was true.
He also apparently put all his assets under his mother's
Yes.
name. Yeah. So, because women have assets too. And sometimes, well, that was just a joke, but I know it's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's just that I cannot name names here, but I know two other local people
Yes.
personally
Yes.
who have
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
have had such a scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where you find that it's not necessarily that his mother owns stuff, but I want us to now transition to the maybe when now the butterflies died in the stomach, they are rotting.
Yes.
It's smelling up
Yes.
in here. There is trouble in paradise.
Yes.
And now we are looking at separation or divorce,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't think people usually are logical during this season.
No.
So you sometimes find that ulikuwa umenunuliwa gari inachukuliwa shamba unakuja kudiscover nye uliambiwa tutajenga hata si yako. I mean,
Yes.
probably you're looking at 15, 20 years of that marriage, and most likely you are only gonna live with your clothes, the ones that you
that
came
is
with,
so unfortunate,
and maybe the dishes that you bought in the kitchen if you're lucky.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I know that there are systems and structures in place. Now, we are not saying that kila mtu aingie ndoa hivi. So the other day I saw someone argue that while in the Western countries people are doing prenups, that is a really big reason why divorces are very prevalent there, because people are already getting into marriage with a plan to
leave or
to leave. And I could not disagree with that sentiment more. And I think it is the same sentiment. It's the same reason we as Africans primarily most of the time don't do things like wills.
Yes.
Because we do not want to
Think
sit
of
with
death,
the idea of our own mortality.
Yes, yeah.
We do not write trust. We don't do
set up
trust
yes.
because we don't want to sit with the reality of that one day I may not be here, or my spouse may not be here, or my brothers might want to swindle my children. You see that, like, having such an open mind to really consider that human beings at the end of the day are just human beings.
That's true. And to add on that, Susan, I think as Africans we don't like to think of endings. We don't like.
We have a negative relationship with
we have a
toxic relationship with endings.
Exactly, because we don't want to think about divorces. They still happen. We don't want to think about deaths. They still happen. So it's so unfortunate. It's almost like I'm not going to wear a seatbelt because I mean, I do not want to think that I could get an accident.
Do you see the madness of it?
You understand?
So you go into, unajua vizuri sana nimeingia kwa gari, I'm going on a long trip. It is recommended that if I'm on the driver's seat, mi kwanza kwa gari yangu, kama uvai mshipi, toka. I'm not trying to have scenarios where I was the driver and someone died in my car because they were thrown from the back seat to kulembele, you know? So why is it that we are so comfortable to wear seat belts? Think about it. Do you know, even there's a friend of mine in insurance, in motor insurance, who was telling me that if Kenyan police did not compel Kenyans to have insurance on the road, we also would not.
No, if it was not part of the law, it will not.
It's not going to happen.
You see, even third party, sometimes people are still crying. They don't want to pay.
They don't want to pay third party. Do you understand? And so when people begin to discuss things like a prenup, already the tentacles are out and everyone is like, indoor inaenda kuisha, because and one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people don't even know what a prenup is. You know, I learned that. Like, people don't know what a prenuptial agreement is, what a postnuptial agreement is. And even as sometimes I find, especially because now when you start setting up a trust after marriage, it's pretty much almost like a prenup.
Yeah, it is actually,
because we are pretty much bringing everything to the table. He's saying what I have, you're saying what you have,
what happens in
and then now we discuss in the case that siku moja utamka au ni feel venye unani feel sai ama mimi ndio tusikwe na ugly divorce in court and wasijui nani atatukatanisha hii nyumba mara mbili uchukue side nichukue side. Can we, when we are happy and while the butterflies are still alive in the stomach, let's have this discussion.
No, I totally agree with you, Susan.
So when it comes to women, are there things that because I have a friend of mine who recently received a very big inheritance from his dad, from her dad. Succession nini. So there's some cash inheritance, but also they received blocks of real estate. This baby is like 26. She's not married. She's not even seriously dating. Given how the law works, what are the options for that kind of a woman? The same way Hakimi can wake up today and put all his assets under his mom's names. What should, like, especially like women who are getting into marriage already having very established portfolios, established careers, what are some things that should be done prior to just make sure that your assets are protected, not hidden? Guys, don't quote me. Now wajua sana venye mnapenda kumisinterpret my stuff. Hapana, I'm saying to protect, not to hide. So in marriage, there's 100% transparency. So your partner knows that this stuff exists, but then now the legal ownership of it. How do people, how are people doing it now?
In such a case, because right now, as we said, so many women are extremely successful and they have assets all over. And as you said, like in your friend's case, the inheritance, they can just set up a family trust and transfer ownership to the trust, and the trust will now be the new owner, so that even when they do get married, this will not form part of, you know, marital property, and there's not going to be any he said, she said, any sort of back and forth, and then you have control over your assets even before you get married, right? And especially, this is very for our clients who are in blended situations, right? Blended families. Because look at it right now. Right now, I'm by myself. I had my late spouse. He left definitely some assets for now for the kids after he transitioned. So if I'm to ever think of getting married again, right now, what I feel is important for me is also now to make sure that those assets are secured in a trust. And whoever is my partner, I hope he's also securing his own assets in a trust. So it's very clear, this belongs to my children, right? And this I came with before the marriage. And also another thing is, I'm a business owner. So I don't want any, any issues to rise later in life regarding my business. So I'm so for the prenups and also setting up trust even before, as you said, we're not hiding. It's just that now I'm just securing and just making sure that, again, my people and myself, I'm also, everything is good, And even, again, life does happen. Sometimes people do pass away, people do divorce, but at least you know that there's going to be minimal disruption no matter what happens. So again, I think what is important is to ask yourself, what is the mindset I'm entering this with? Because if you're coming from a mindset of fear, oh my God, mtu anaweza kuniwacha, or I don't think that is the best place. You shouldn't even be marrying that person. And that's why I don't believe in hiding. Don't story aningi. There are people who apparently their spouses know they are earning 50,000 per month, and this girl is already like at managerial position. She's netting 380K. I'm like, why? No, you know, there's some people, there's some partners, if they find out you are earning a lot, there's issues. But now you see, it's a bigger issue than money. Issue, exactly. Like, so it's not a money problem. And I feel the reason we run away from these conversations overall is because we are running away from the bigger concern, the bigger conversation, right? We're pushing it under the rug. Exactly, and just pretending it's not there. That's why I was just like, no, prenups are not the problem. Yeah, exactly. Forget America. Here in Kenya, if you make it to 10 years now, especially our generation as a married woman, we need to do a bash.
we need to do a very, very big bash. That's our reality still.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're not doing prenups
Yes,
as much as the
yes,
Western countries
yes,
are doing
yes,
prenups.
yes,
So, and
yeah.
that's why I'm like, the prenups are not the problem. We have bigger issues. We
Yes.
have communication issues, ego issues. We have culture issues,
Yes.
and how, you know, society looks at and portrays marriage to
Yeah.
men and to women
Exactly.
and to children.
Yes.
But then because all that cannot be handled, we want to be like married together, living in the same house, but living two
separate,
completely
Exactly.
lives.
Yeah.
So before we
So
wrap
yes,
up,
yes.
please help us do a quick audit.
Yeah.
If a woman is watching us today, and maybe they are not married yet, or they are married, or they are now stay-at-home wives, or they are navigating a divorce, they are navigating a separation, maybe they've just been widowed and they don't know, what's an audit that every woman at some point in their lives, as early as yesterday, should sit down and do as a quick audit to just help them kind of like map out where they are.
Okay, just as you mentioned at the beginning, it's important also to know what are your values. Yeah, it's important to know where I'm at when it comes to anything money, what it is that I believe, what is important and what is not. And then also, it's important to now check, okay, when it comes to the assets, what are the assets do I have? We just map everything out. Everything, just list everything, right? If you have any liabilities, it's important for you to list who exactly depends on you. Sometimes you might just think it's your kids, but when you look at the bigger picture, you are taking care of your mom, you're taking care of your nephews and nieces. So who are these people who are dependent on you? When it comes to even, let's say, for example, a sort of protection, do you have any protection? Do you have an emergency fund? Is it actually full? Is it at the amount of money you want it to be? How long can you actually survive with this emergency fund in the case life was to transition on you today, right? You are working and you're no longer working. How long can you actually survive without it, right? Okay, your medical cover. If you're to fall pregnant today, do you even have a medical cover?
No. You wait to get pregnant first, and then now you start
na
asking,
unajua wananikuja
niko na nini? Naweza nunua
because I want
maternity.
Or even your life cover. Maybe you are single and you had put your parents. Now you're married and you have kids. Have you updated that? Even the ones at work, your group life, right? So it's always important now to see where is it that I'm at and to see what the gaps are. So I'll share the audit tool so that people can be able to do this themselves, because we have to see, okay.
Oh, we can put it in the description box?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
So they can be able to see their score of where exactly am
that
I right now. Yeah, because the most important thing is to start where it is, to know where you are now, and then to know what the gaps are, and now work towards filling in that gap. Because as we said, it's important for you to make sure that you, as the woman in this case, are sorted, because we do go through different transition from single to married, married to divorced or separated, married to widowed, you know, no children to children. So it's important to ensure that we know where it is that you are now, and every single time there's any update, you just keep on updating the audit, and just to see, okay, where am I, and am I at least going closer and closer to my goals?
Sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's also something really exciting that I got from your team the other day.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to share with us, because I think as people are doing an audit, there is also a tool where you can actually be able to. I loved it when I saw
you
it.
saw that,
The legacy
the
tracker. Can you maybe tell us a bit about that? And
my God,
maybe we can also put it up on the screen.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you know, people can also try and access that on the link below.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So the kids legacy tracker usually comes in as part of the combo. You know, the legacy combo we've been talking about. Remember, we said especially for anybody with children under the age of 18, or any child who's dependent on you, it's important to have a sort of continuity plan. So we had said, first of all, you need to make sure that there's life cover in case of a transition. There's money that's pumped in back into the family, and these children's lives are not interrupted or changed, right? And then you have to have a trust fund, because where is that life cover proceeds going to land? Because
or
if
pension
exactly, because if it lands in the wrong place, it means that the money you've left for your children will not actually get to your children, because someone might misuse the money, or it might be mismanaged. And then the last part is now the kids legacy tracker, because again, if you're going to leave your child with a guardian, Does your guardian know the details of your children's school? Do they know the actual, maybe the covers? You don't even have to now say exactly maybe the amount that you have, but do they know the life cover you have, the trust funds that you have put for your kids? Do they know your kids' allergies? Do they know when your child is anxious, how to, calm them down? Yeah, because all our children are different, and it's important to think of continuity from the place of, today's I'm not there, maybe I didn't wake up, but the person who I've left with my child, do they know anything about my child? So when it comes to even religion, how would I want my child to continue growing, and which religious practices? When it comes to schools, do I have a preference, whether it's international schools or local schools? You have to now put it down, because people can't read your mind. That's why we said at the beginning, women are vaults. So a lot of our stuff is in our mind, but nobody knows. We've not translated. I don't even know, Susan, if you've not told me like what was the last injection or immunization your child had, how will I know if it's not been put down? So the Kids Legacies Tracker is for yourself, just also to map out and to see where your kid is at. But it's also important now for whoever it is that you're going to leave as a guardian. So if you don't have now you've not now gotten the legacy combo through us, you can get the Kids Legacy Tracker by itself to just now be able to map these things out for your kids. And then it will also really give you an idea of where it is that you are and what the gaps are. Yeah.
I loved it because like when I was feeling that thing, I was just like, nikuwa naumwa na kichwa.
Ulimaliza?
Sijamaliza.
Hiyo kitu, by the way, inakufanya ufikirie.
You think so much because you're like, especially like that part for like where your assets are, account numbers, things that you would want your children, like their value system and all of that. Like it really forces you to pause and to think and to really be like, okay, if this is what the wealthy do, because I know wealthy people in family offices have all of this taken care of, and that is why the continuity plan is very solid. And guys, it's I'm very excited to announce that towards the end of this month now, in today's conversation, we just really wanted to bring out some of these issues that are very uncomfortable for us as women, maybe to have, either because it's not a safe space for you to have this kind of conversations, or you will be misunderstood maybe by people who are committed to misunderstand you anyway, or the question, you have questions that you're afraid of voicing out because you don't even know that there is an answer to it, which is why we thought that after this conversation, it would be nice for us to have a little girls hangout towards the end of the month on Zoom. So all of you girlies in the diaspora, nimewafikiria. Because after CEO, guys were just like, excuse me, madam, when are you coming to? So on the 29th of August, it's actually gonna be a Saturday. Please note this if you are out of the country, if you're out of Kenya. This is August the 29th, 10 a.m. East African time to 12 noon East African time. So depending on where you are going to be joining us from for the webinar, you could just calendar mark that at your own time zone so that you can get a reminder, maybe at least even a day, and maybe even an hour before the webinar. And we are going to be talking about, so we've highlighted quite a number of things, but obviously a YouTube video may not necessarily help us, rather give us enough space and time to give you all the tools for a woman's continuity plan. We'll be talking a lot about that, and we want to give you not just the information, but we want to give you the tools, we want to give you the information, and we want to make it as practical as possible in terms of how you could work on that legacy tracker, in terms of what a trust for yourself would look like as a single woman, as a married woman, as a divorced, separated, child-free woman. We are going to be having that conversation, and if you guys know me any at all, mnajua I am girly for practicals. Staki because I think when we're having these conversations, so many things are in the air and there's so much jargon. So I really like to break things down in a manner where when someone leaves the webinar, they have a roadmap, like they know exactly where to go from here and exactly which gap to fill. So maybe Mnyendo, you can give us a bit of a teaser of what we are going to be
Yes.
handling during the webinar this end month.
Yes.
And what to expect from you.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Susan. So yes, just as Susan has mentioned, we're going to make it as practical as possible because we have spoken about different transitions and there's the ones which we've not spoken about because there's also aspects of you are separated but not yet divorced. There's also so much
That's
risk
limbo.
there. That limbo, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, people who've also gone to the widowhood journey. So it's so important, woman, no matter what stage you are, to make sure that you have a solid plan. Whether you have kids, no kids, to just make sure that no matter what life throws your way, also no matter which roles come or which ones go, you are solid. So we're going to build now this plan from scratch. As Susan has mentioned, from now our liquidity planning to now the structures and the conversations to have. And even when we're talking about the trackers, yes, we've talked about the kids tracker, but there's some of us who don't have children, but we're taking care of our parents. Do we know much about our parents? So there's even a parents tracker that we'll share as well, right? So that now you do understand, or you just have an overall idea of where you are at, where the people it is that depend on you are at, so that you are not completely in the dark. And we are going to show you how to go about it, because sometimes even before, you know, setting up some of these wills, the trusts, you need to organize your household. Yeah, you need to organize your home. You need to organize yourself to just make sure that I know where it is that I am, I know what it is that I'm lacking, and how can I be able to build myself where it is that I am now. So whether I mean, I get married or get divorced, get separated, get children, or I choose to be child-free, you're still going to be good with you as a woman, with Susan as a woman, with Mnyindo as a woman. Because another thing, remember, even our children will grow up and leave us and will be empty nesters. So we need to make sure that there's that level of continuity, no matter where we are.
Yeah. So the link is on in the description box down below. So on the description box down below, we have 3 very important links that I want you to be on the lookout for. Number 1, the audit. Start there.
Please.
Before you do anything else, do a quick audit. You will see where the gaps are, so that even as you're preparing to attend the webinar, you come with questions. Come with questions prepared for us, and after you've registered for the webinar, then you could even send us some of those questions in advance, so that even as we are working to prepare for this webinar, we have some of your concerns in mind. The second link that will be there is definitely the link to purchase the legacy, the kids legacy tracker. And finally, we are also going to leave a link to register for the webinar. Now, because this is a completely free webinar, obviously it's not an unlimited webinar. Very few slots will be there, so that we can also be able to have a very intimate, accommodative conversation around women and our issues around transitions and how they affect our finances. So the moment this video comes up today, please use that link and sign up. We always sell out.
Yeah,
all our webinars,
that is true. That is
all
so
our
true.
webinars always sell out. We have very few seats, so make sure you grab yours. Now, before I let Mnyindo go, I want us to shake it out a bit.
Hey,
We always have very serious conversations. So, babe, today I had some quick fire questions.
Yani, you just decide to surprise me like
this.
Okay.
Prepared for you, so that we can wrap it. We can wrap this up a bit fun. I feel like, oh my God, we are so serious.
I know, right?
By the guys, I'm sorry taka kutuona outside of the camera. We are not serious at all. I promise you.
Ni hapa tu.
So, quick question. Email or text message?
Email.
High heels or comfy sneakers?
High heels.
Of course. Of course. Morning workout or late night workout?
Morning workout.
You're a morning person.
Me 5 o'clock diko gym.
Team 5 o'clock.
Look at me.
Look at that
body.
Body. Anyway, able to be serious. Wine night or spa day?
Spa day.
Spa day.
Spa day.
Okay.
Yes.
Done with the quick fire. What is a major fashion mistake you made when you first started? Because you're very fashionable. What is a big fashion mistake that you now look back on and be like, guy, nilikuwa navaa nini hizo?
Well, so I went through this goth phase.
Goth?
Unajua watu wanavaa black nail.
Kama eyeshadows are black.
Hata sijui what was going on. I'm telling you, I look at those old photos. I was just like now in black and then black nails. Ama was I going through it?
You were going through
Maybe
it.
I was going through it. So even like my eyes, so much eyeliner. And then like darker lipstick. Please, I cannot go back to that phase.
Okay.
No, I'm curious. What's yours?
Fashion mistake.
Yes.
Yangu nikianza kuongea.
Ziko mingi.
Me, I was just poor. Let's just say.
Ni pesa ndo ilikuwa haiko.
Although,
yes.
the whole eyebrow thingy.
Oh, yes.
Guys used to kata eyebrow inakuwa inakonda. Ningekuwa na trust wase ningewekea picha. But sasa sitaki kukuwa meme. I don't want to be a meme. I'll send it to you though.
Please, yes.
Okay, the second last question. Which social media app do you waste the most time on?
TikTok.
Ah.
Imagine.
Really?
Imagine.
I would have guessed Instagram.
Hey, ziko almost the same because no, Instagram is so, it's composed. TikTok,
wild.
It's so wild.
Unazuna kwanga unhinged. So yeah, I get
lakini
it.
sasa unaenda huku mbele ndo watu wanafikiri niko lakini huku nyuma.
Okay, last question. Yeah. What is your ultimate guilty pleasure TV show that you've watched recently?
Sasa
don't say Jonas, ndakufukuza.
Hiyo hata sija watch by the way. Hiyo hata sija watch. Bado kulikuwa na ile inaitwangaje? Is it not Billionaires? What is this one? Yeah, okay, it's like really my rich family. It's on Netflix. What is it called?
Oh wait, the Succession.
Yeah, that one.
Succession, the one that you finished.
No, I'm still yet there. Lakini by the way, I barely watch things, but that's the one which I watched like most of it. Yes.
So what I want you to do after set,
yes.
you see you and Kevin, you need to plan a sit down. You investigate deeply within your hearts why you are so afraid of watching The Polygamist.
Me, I can't.
Okay? Investigate within your hearts deeply why you cannot. And then once you do, you're mnanikazia content. Because I want to have a round table discussion with men and women, especially this one who's shaking his head over here. About that show. I've been meaning to do like a roundtable discussion.
Yes.
And
we need to actually.
Yeah, we need to have a roundtable discussion to discuss what the hell was that.
Girl, I feel like there's already so much when it comes to matters relationship. I'm like, do I even want to take myself somewhere deeper and darker?
Mimi naelewa, but genuinely kama mtake kuwatch msiwatch. But
lakini nimeona hizo ma TikTok. So kuna venye ninajua story. Lakini nilikuwa ninakupashia hata kama sija watch yote.
Yeah, so guys, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10 you can judge how fun or not fun this girl is, but yeah, your girl as usual is very fun. So thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you loved it. Please remember to click the link on the description box down below to register for the upcoming webinar. Again, remember that is going to be on the 29th of this month, 10 a.m. East African time to noon. And I look forward to having you there. Thank you so much, Mnyendo, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you end month. And for my Finance Friday people, see you next week.